So when you are thinking of, you know what, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore, just take time to remember where you've come from and where you want to go and why you started, and keep at it. It's not going to be easy, but you have to keep doing it, okay? I'm excited about my first guest. She was here last week Thursday, and she is a woman of her words. We ambushed her. I don't think we had discussed, but because you guys loved her so much and sent in the questions, well, we sort of said she'll be back on Thursday, and sure enough, Shazmin Bank is here. Relationship coach, life coach. We had an amazing time last time, Shazmin.
So did I. I absolutely loved it. Loved being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how was your week? Let me just take these things off of here.
Actually, I was so shocked. It's March.
It is much.
I can't believe how fast the year's gone. Like, I'm blown away. Like, I feel we've been cheated of 2 days, but it's okay. We're in March. It's good.
We are in March, 4th of March actually. Like,
can't
we're way
believe it.
into it. Like, we're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the way in. And the vaccine is here, you know, like, yeah,
I
things
just
are
sort of,
happening.
yeah, I feel people got that rest for 2020, and like the hunger, you can just see hunger in
Yes.
people for 2021. It's
That is
amazing.
so true. That is
yeah.
so true. Today, last time maybe you can introduce yourself again for the people who are just tuning in for the first time today or seeing you today for the very first time, and this is your camera.
Great. So my name is Shazmin Bank. I'm a strategic life, relationship, and intimacy coach. I have also studied, and I'm a master NLP practitioner, a master hypnosis, and I've studied equilibration, and I'm just here to be able to speak. I've been practicing for 9 years now and done one-on-one coaching, and I just feel, you know, this is a beautiful avenue to be able to just pass a message and hit so many more people by doing this.
I think you need to come back. We'll be booking you for next Thursday. Again, you're doing the thing. Hypnosis. I think I would like to understand that.
You would love it. It just works with the subconscious. Like, I won't make you do crazy things.
Really?
People won't turn around
The
and be
movies
like,
just go ahead and just say the wrong things or the most dramatic things about hypnosis, but we'll have that conversation.
yeah,
later
okay, we
today.
will drift.
We can easily just whoo.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about controlling partners, the telltale signs of this, how to get yourself out of this situation, the whole shebang about controlling partner. What does that even mean, to have a partner who's controlling in a relationship?
So that's a really interesting question. So a lot of people don't even realize they sometimes get into a relationship with somebody that's controlling. So I would look at it in two ways, though, I've realized, is there's not just one person that just fully controls you. At some point, you're the A, they're the B. You can't do without each other. So you're also controlling a certain part of the relationship, and they are learning to control a certain part of the relationship back. But you always have an enabler. You always have the one person that's more dominant in the way that they control.
Okay.
And a lot of times they tend to find somebody that's a lot more submissive, or somebody that's calmer, somebody that they're able to really dominate. And they can sort of see that the person who's the submissive one sort of feels like, wow, I can't believe I got this woman, or I can't believe I got a man like this. But they have no idea what's later going to come in from being in a relationship with somebody that just sort of has a hook on you, somebody that needs you to dress a certain way, look a certain way, have friends a certain way, think a certain way, eat a certain amount, because it all ends up on how they look in society and how people look at them.
That is a lot.
That's
you
a
stop
lot.
living for you slowly, and you don't even notice at the beginning, like you mentioned.
No.
It's so difficult for you to know, oh, my partner is controlling. It'll start with the very, very small things. And what are those telltale signs? Just to pick on a few as we go on with the conversation, to just know that this, but most of the times we notice when we're too late, we're already way in.
Because they have a way of really drawing you in. So the first way they do it is they make you feel very safe with them.
Okay.
Because you sort of feel my life is all over the place, and when I'm in this particular relationship with this man or this woman, I sort of feel structured in the beginning. But what you don't realize is this person sort of has a goal on how they're able to take over who you are. So they will control the work and the job you work at. They get insecure if you're late, if you don't call, if you don't check, if they're not on the phone with you all the time. They worry about how you look, because that's how they look. You are a consistent reflection of them. So they never really worry about who you are as a person, but really the control they can have on you. And I've had it with a lot of clients. I've had it with men who have been in a relationship with very controlling women. And these men are just soft, beautiful, amazing men who do anything to make this woman happy. But then nothing's enough for her.
Okay.
And it's the same thing with a woman. And at some point, you just start to lose who you are, because you come into a relationship, even though you're very submissive, but you are confident. You sort of know who you are, but you're just a lot kinder as a person. But this other controlling partner has a way of pulling out a side of you also that has you retaliate and having to react in a certain way. So controlling partners, they will initially at some point pull you away from your friends, and they pull you away from family, because that's the only way they get into your head. So they know that if
You're
you
not hearing
have
anything from anybody
oh
else.
no, and they know that if they behave a certain way and you have an outlet of someone you can talk to and get advice from, they have to make sure they cut that out, because now somebody's going to be telling you this isn't right, this is wrong. So they have a way very slowly of how they draw you into their world. And sometimes a lot of controlling people don't even realize they do that.
That's the question I had. Is
Yes.
it intentional for them, or it's just an innate kind of feeling or a need to do something or completely own you? Is
So-
it something they know?
So two ways to look at it.
Okay.
Some controlling people, yes, very much know that that is their personality, but they don't realize there's another way to be.
Okay.
Other people, now that borderlines on narcissism, which is like a whole other topic, because narcissists are very aware
Of what they're doing.
of what they're doing to you, and they lack empathy in how they treat you. But a lot of controlling people still have empathy. They just don't know this is the way they behave and this is the way they are. But they are some people, when you bring it to their attention and you let them know that you are being very controlling and I don't like that, they're not able to understand how else can I be, unless
Yeah.
they can see there's a way to be able to get help, because they've grown up this way. They've grown up mentally privileged, emotionally privileged. You are the best, you are perfect from childhood. You know, they're the parents who don't bother to play the card games with them at home, but when they are performing in school, the parents are there enabling that behavior. So at some point they sort of feel, this is who I am, and it's a privilege for you to be in a relationship with me because I will make you somebody, I will make you something. But they don't realize that you're taking a whole personality away from somebody. So
Oh my goodness. Is there a certain personality type that falls under, the victims of controllers?
in my experience, I've seen a lot of the victims somehow now it moves culturally. So I've seen there are men who are controlling, but they don't know they're controlling because that's just how they watched their fathers be.
Okay.
Or they watched that's how the mothers were with the fathers. So they just sort of took on that role of this is normal, this is natural. But then you also have some people who you're never born controlling. So you
Yeah.
you learn it. So they learn how to be that way. It's like a survival instinct. They're either bullied so much when they were in high school or as somebody younger that the only way to not show that emotion is to rise above it, which means now I will be controlling, be the one to bully you back. So I'm never bullied. So my faults and my weaknesses are never seen, but I'll pry and pull out yours. But like I was saying, it just varies because, like I've seen a lot with the Indian culture as well. You have a lot of the men that will dominate the women because they get into marriages when they're a lot younger.
Yeah.
And women sometimes don't know who they are for a while, as well as men. But then I've also seen that, it's the same thing with women.
Yeah.
There are so many men that are so scared to be able to say, my girl controls me. And I don't feel okay in a relationship like this because I'm supposed to be macho. My woman's not supposed to control me. And so I have so many men that come in and they sort of feel like,
That
am I
takes a
the
lot
only
of courage,
one?
doesn't it?
So much courage.
And if
so
they're able
much.
to just have that conversation, then that means they're willing to do whatever it takes to just get out of that situation.
Yeah.
We're taking a very short commercial break. We will be right back with Shazmeen, but you can send in your questions. Do you think or feel like you're in a very controlling relationship? Do you think your partner is that? What are the telltale signs that you're seeing? Send all of that and then we'll have Shazmeen answer all your questions. 111 444 111. That is our SMS line. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mukali. Now I'm gonna say it slowly because yesterday I massacred my own name. We we have Shazmin in the building. We're talking about how do you know your partner is controlling, and we've highlighted some of these things. And sometimes it's from a place of knowing that you are controlling, and others absolutely do not know. When you know that you are controlling and you're doing everything to enable that habit, then that borders being narcissistic. And let's talk about the partner who is overly jealous, overly paranoid. They will bag your phone, they will stalk you. Why were you on phone when I was calling you? Who were you talking to?
To the point where they can tell you that I saw when we stopped talking, we got off at 10:08 p.m., but you continued to be online past 12. Now, he or she could not be doing anything wrong, but they are just in a mentality that you're always cheating. And they somehow put it in your head that even having any interaction with the opposite sex could be wrong. So you start to feel that I need to withdraw, I shouldn't be talking to anybody. And you get paranoid because a lot of the time controlling partners are the ones that do cheat.
Yes.
And if you catch them, they have this amazing ability to make you think it was you.
What do you mean?
So I've experienced this so much where I'll have a man or a woman come in and say, my partner, I just caught them cheating and I don't know what to do, because they won't admit that they were cheating. And the partner will come in and say, no, it wasn't me. I'm just good friends with this person, while they are not allowed to be friends with anybody else. But I saw on their phone and on their Facebook, they're following this person. Now what they do is they have you move away from the fact that they cheated or they're cheating,
Yes.
to now justifying how this person's a friend, or I wasn't doing anything wrong. Or they'll come in and say, but why were you talking to this person? Why did someone say that you were in a group with a mixed crowd? They completely take over the fact that they do anything wrong, and they switch it and they turn it in a way where you are justifying talking, pulling out your teeth to show that you are so loyal, you're not doing anything wrong, but it's them all along. And because they are the ones cheating and they're the ones insecure, they feel that they'd lose you. And so they grip you even tighter by making you consistently think like something's wrong with you. Like any interaction could be that I might be cheating and my partner would think this is how I'm behaving, so I should just stop. So they completely get into your head, and they're always jealous. They are jealous if you're a female, they're jealous that you're with a male. And if you're a male, they're consistently jealous that you're with a female. They're also jealous if you're with the same sex.
What?
Because they feel someone's going to replace them.
So they're insecure as well.
All the time. It's the deepest stem. That's what urges them to have to control you. It's because they feel if I'm not in control of you, then I lose you. So it's like this deep down pain that, we don't address. So you'll address the fact that I have a controlling partner, and at some point, there are ways to talk to them and learn how to talk to them to have the relationship be better. But a lot of people feel I have to leave a controlling partner, which is not necessarily the cause. It's because where does controlling come from? We don't hit the deep root problem of this pain. There's insecurity. They can be worked on, because controlling people still feel empathy. They still hurt. They still go through their own pains. But they've mastered how not to feel it so well by being able to control somebody else. And then they are brilliant at having somebody break and crumble and then being the ones to rescue you.
Oh my goodness.
So they confuse you. So
it feels like a whole cycle.
it's a whole cycle, and that's why a lot of people sometimes, when they're in controlling relationships, before it even gets physically abusive, because remember, controlling starts first with mental. They play these little mental games with you, and then they'll verbally try to be able to control you. And when they see I can't reach, I'm reaching a point now where I'm getting retaliation back, it now becomes physical control. So it doesn't necessarily start with instant hitting, but it'll be, I'll throw something across the room, I'll break something to startle you and get you scared, to teach you, don't cross that line, don't talk that way, don't behave that way.
Like you're training a pet.
Yes.
It's so sad.
Absolutely. And then it becomes, I'll just squeeze your hand to teach you don't do that, or I'll shake you, to have you be scared that next time if I get into a fight like this, I'm going to be on eggshells because last time he or she shook me, he or she hurt me, so I'm going to behave. But then at some point, your human nature is also to fight for yourself and what you stand for the people that are stronger enough to do that. And then it becomes even more abusive. So they have to cross a line with themselves and certain boundaries to teach you don't go beyond me and what I say. So
it can move from jealousy to paranoia and all these things to the physical bit of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all part of controlling. It starts mild. In some relationships, it just stays mild. It just stays verbal. A lot of women are very controlling with men. Like they just, they say women already have a very beautiful, graceful power over men, but then there are women who take it to another level, who be able to like really hold men into a relationship and have men question their masculinity and who am I? I'm nothing without this woman because she takes care of me. She has this power over me, but then she checks my phone. She knows how much I earn. She checks my banking. Somehow she controls the finance and the money. She doesn't even let the man do it. So it's very two-sided.
Yes.
It's definitely not a one side. That's what I've seen. I just feel it's a lot harder for men to be able to stand and say, this is something I'm going through, because their friends tend to just laugh at them and say, well, then you should leave. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's being able to work through a relationship that can be this way, because partners learn. They do learn how to change.
There's so many areas or ways that a controlling partner can do that, and we've talked about a few. They will control your family, control your friends. How then do they control finances? Because there's a bit of that happens as well, where you were told to stop working. I will take care of you. Then you come home, then they make you beg, even for the little, most important, necessary things that a woman needs. Or a man needs.
Absolutely. I've had a couple of clients where mostly the man will sometimes dominate the woman's finance. And the way that he does that is he will convince her that they are not earning well. She has no idea how much she's earning. She has no idea what the business is doing. She's never allowed to be involved or ask questions, because at some point, you're shouted at or you're shook not to cross that line. And he will be able to convince you that we're not earning well enough. So you learn to live a certain way. You don't buy anything, for yourself, for the children. It's like, unless he's the one that comes in to get them something, then you feel, wow, we're not earning well and he's such an amazing husband or a wife. They bought this gift for them. But they have full control. Like, you will never know how much they earn. But then also to the point where I've had men who don't allow women to work because they threaten them. They say that if you work, I will come to work and make sure I talk to your boss, and I will put an end to that, or I'll cause a scene. So it just has you feeling, I should just sit at home. There's nothing else that I can do. But then it also comes down to where you are asking for every penny, and they have you write down a list of, I spent on, vegetables and meat and things like this, and then they will attack you on, why did you spend extra here? So it's like you're buying for the family, you're cooking for the family, but they get into your head where they make you feel, was I extravagant on buying a little more this week? So it can be very, very, very toxic. And a lot of people, until they sort of breathe and they take a back seat, you're in that crunch of this relationship. You don't realize there's something different because you don't talk to other people about problems like this. So you think this is normal. Everyone's going through a relationship like this. So many people don't realize this isn't normal, to have somebody, control exactly how you feel and think, to a point that even when you're doing good, you feel you're doing wrong. So you can't win. Like, you just don't win with somebody that controls you.
Goodness. So we have a couple of questions here for you. Shaz, looks like we get in it, like we're in this relationships. Like, what happened? Does it mean that, kindly ask Shaz if being controlling borders being narcissistic? Well, I think you mentioned that as well.
Yeah, well, it sort of does and it doesn't. Narcissistic people are very aware that they're narcissistic. it's a whole different breed on how they're brought up, how they grow up. You know, it's narcissistic disorder. It actually has a term for people who behave this way. Narcissistic people, life is just about them. They don't care about you and who you are. Whereas in someone controlling, it's all stemmed from like an inner insecurity, and they just have this need to just make everything perfect. That's their blueprint of life. So I would say it's easier to work with a controlling partner than sometimes it is to work with someone that is narcissistic.
There's also a question of people who were very creative. They had amazing, brilliant ideas. They were always part of the conversation, sharing their mind with people. And then all of a sudden, that is not happening, because every time they share an idea, it is criticized. They are put down.
Yes.
Is that also another form of controlling?
That is, because you and I will be sitting and we have this great conversation, but the minute we get home, I am now going to tell you everything you did wrong. I will now tell you how you behaved and that was wrong. I will now control how that whole environment went. And so somehow you just tend to feel that even when I'm in public or I'm out or I'm with anyone, you doubt who you are. So you just start to withdraw. You lose your self-esteem, you lose your self-confidence, you lose who you are, because you're just so unsure. This one person you love so much in the world is, you know, you sort of rely on the truth to come out from them, but you don't know yourself what is the truth and what isn't. So they slowly sort of take away parts of who you are. And that's why you withdraw naturally from society, because I don't know who I am. I don't know how to behave with you. And if I do, I don't know if I'm going to get screamed at about it later on. I'd rather just not show up.
Hey Shazmin, my name is Kim and I have a question concerning my ex. We dated for 6 years, and now that you're talking about it, I just realized what I was in. Since she made me cut off everyone, but then later I got into a relationship. Do you think that I might have adapted her behaviors? Because I feel like I'm controlling my current partner. Is that even possible, to carry something that you didn't like from the other relationship and take it to your new one? Now you become the controlling one.
Yes, because sometimes we don't realize. So first of all, Kim, beautiful that you're, you know, for a man, I just commend you to stand up and talk like that, because this encourages other men to do it.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes it is. That's why I began by saying, you know, whatever A does triggers B, and whatever B does triggers A. So you can't have one without the other at some point. But it would be that now, if you're aware of what your partner was doing or how they were and how they were behaving, controlling, would be for you to realize, am I controlling out of love or am I controlling to manipulate? And if you're controlling out of love, it would be to soften that, to be able to be like, I love you and I feel that, you know, I'm doing things that are probably pushing you in the wrong way. It's just coming from love, but let's communicate and talk about it. Let me ask your partner, are there things I'm saying and I'm doing that hurt you? And you're able to work around and change something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but you always pick up little bits that you leave from people and you don't realize it. That's why conversations like this just bring awareness and have people go, oh my God, I love my partner so much. I can't believe that is me. So, yeah.
Good for you, Kim. Good morning, Mikali. My name is Wangari. My man does things purposely to annoy me at times and leaves me hanging and pretends he's sleepy, doesn't eat. When I try to wake him and have a conversation, he becomes harsh and rude and blames me for being nagging. Please help me understand this behavior. Actually, I'm a psychologist, but I can't comprehend. Oh goodness.
That is brilliant. So here's the interesting. I actually coach so many psychologists, because at some point you're in the situation yourself, you're not able to see it. But you know, there's a difference with a man being complacent and being lazy and then making you feel that that's your fault. Like, you know, when you get into a relationship in the beginning, there's a difference with how you show up, even your body language. You're so in for this relationship.
Yes.
But at some point, you know, you sit back and you get complacent because you know the other person will be around and they always stay. So I would really insist communication is huge, but it's how you communicate. So if he's feeling or switching off from hearing nagging, he's not hearing what you're asking. He's not hearing your request. So I always say, when there's confrontation, instead of like, you know, fighting back, always look at how you can respond back instead of reacting back to the situation. So behind criticism is a wish. So she has a wish on how she would like things to be. He's hearing it as this is noise and nagging. How do you communicate it better to him to let him know that this is how I'm feeling, this is how you're behaving? How do we work this? Because I can't stay in this situation if it's going to keep being this way. So yeah, it's all communication.
Wangari, all the best. I'm in a relationship whereby if I ask any question that concerns our relationship, this guy gets mad, or even he won't talk to me. Is that controlling?
No, I wouldn't say that's controlling, but I would say at some point he's switching off, or there's a block, or he's stonewalling you. So for me, it would be interesting to know, why does he do that? Why is he behaving like that? How long have the two of you been together? You know, that he feels the need that he can sort of treat you that way. So that's definitely not controlling, but it's a form of stonewalling, which just has you feel, I can't get through, you know, past this brick wall. How do I reach you? So there's so many different ways in which you can communicate with him, but sometimes it would also be able to sit down and say, listen, I can't keep asking where's our relationship going or where are we if you won't communicate. So I need to know, are you in this relationship? And if you're in this relationship with me and we're doing a relationship together, then it's going to need this conversation to be had. Otherwise, your silence is telling me maybe something that you don't want me to know or hear, but that's what I'm hearing and seeing. Okay. So you have to be very clear and sometimes stand up for yourself for people to realize, all right, I can't sort of walk over this for too long.
Okay. How do I deal then with a controlling partner? So we've talked about all the telltale signs, the extremes that they can go to. How do I, sort of like take care of that situation? How do I live with this person? So if there's a chance to do that. Beautiful
question. The first thing is, don't ever react to controlling partner. Learn how to respond to their behavior. Okay. So a controlling partner will trigger you, which will probably have you fight back.
Yes.
So you move into a dance of fight and fight, or you move into a dance where the partner is flighting and you are fighting behind them, or you move into a dance where there's just flight and flight. Two people just don't want to be there anymore. So there are three dances that you're always in any given relationship. But the thing to be able to realize is, if I react to how you are, we're not changing anything. Yes. We're not changing a dynamic. If I respond more clearly and more assertive, so if you're shouting at me or you're telling me off and I respond with, I don't like that, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to calm down, and I'm going to take 5 minutes to calm down because I don't respect you talking to me that way. I don't deserve to be talked to that way. And if we continue this, I'm going to also say things that are going to hurt you. So we're going to draw a boundary here and I'm going to walk away. Now that's responding as opposed to reacting. So you're not pushed into fight mode. The other thing is to really sit down and tell a controlling partner, these are the areas that are really affecting me. This part of the relationship is having me withdraw from friends, from family. It's now affecting my confidence with work, with my career. So I'm not feeling safe in a relationship like this. And maybe you didn't realize these are the things you're doing, but now I'm going to bring it to your attention. And let's start to work through it. Let's get help for this part of it. The other thing is to also sit down and tell somebody that's controlling is, I know this is how you behave and I love you, and I know at some point deep down inside you love me. But for me, this language is not love. I want somebody that can love me in beautiful ways, and I can love them back in beautiful ways. But you're having me withdraw even from you at some point. So I'm not showing up as a partner that I really want to show up as, because this relationship is changing me. So if I want to stay in this relationship, how do we make this work? Because a lot of the times controlling partners end up realizing, I don't want to lose this person, and I'm holding onto them in the wrong way, which is very different from a narcissist. Narcissists won't tend to talk. You can't have such an easy, simple conversation with them.
Like you said, it's easier to deal with a controlling partner than
because some people just don't realize it is such a big aha moment that I couldn't believe I was behaving this way. But I love you and I don't want to do that. Or I'm aware I behave this way and so I need work. and I want this relationship to work, so I'm going to make an effort to change that.
Oh my God, and my time is up.
No.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
But these conversations are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Carol, Thursday? No? Yes? Yes! Thursday. Okay, Shaz?
Okay, good. Yes.
Great. So, Shazmin will be back on Thursday, so do not miss these conversations. There are lots of questions for you. Social media handles and how people can send their questions directly to you.
The best way is Instagram. So send it to me on @beingrealnow. And then DMs are perfect. I sometimes just have a bit of a backlog, but I never leave like a message outstanding. And it's easier for me than email sometimes because I can voice note you and we can chat back and forth, which is so much easier. So I just love to be able to hear from you. And also let us know what other topics, you're
Yes.
dealing with and you want us to talk about. And we'd love to be able to, have topics that hit an audience like you.
Great. Thursday, guys. Thank you, Shazmin. Always
Thank
lovely.
you, Mary.
We're taking a very short commercial break. We will be right back. This is Full Circle with Mikali.